Curt Schilling was a topic of conversation for a variety of reasons, and Schill joins us now. Hi, Schill.
What's going on? Hey, first off, you guys have the worst waiting music I've ever heard. Ever. Your hold music is horrific.
Okay, Seton, what is our hold music, and how do we improve that for Schill?
It sounded like I was expecting to get a call to a dentist chair at some point.
It is sort of similar to that. It's like just like generic, nameless music. It's probably called like smooth jazz trance or something like that.
There's
it's nothing
smooth about it.
Okay, Schill, what would your walk-up song be?
My walk-up song? You mean, like to hit?
Well, no. Let's say like Enter Sandman. You know.
Oh no! I was Guns N' Roses. Welcome to the Jungle. Was the song they played.
All right. The next time you call, we'll get Welcome to the Jungle when you're on hold. So you're making some headlines here.
I gotta. Yeah, you think?
Yeah. Okay. Clear this up for me because I didn't get the joke.
How long have you and I known each other? First off, long time, right?
15 years.
15, 20 years?
Yeah.
Have you ever in your lifetime known me to make an excuse about anything, ever?
No, you're direct. That's why I didn't get
No. Hold on a second. If you heard me on Baseball Tonight, which is where this all originated, the amount of laughter around the commentary was enough to make sure everybody understood it was a joke. John Smoltz is as conservative a Republican as I've ever been and always has been, and I've always known that. It was said. It couldn't have been said in more of a jest, humorous way. First off, secondly, there's not a planet in the galaxy that I would disrespect the guys that got into the Hall of Fame ever, and that would be the height of degrading the accomplishment of those guys. Is saying that they got in for a reason I didn't get in. It's ridiculous.
Okay, but I think there's a passive-aggressive nature in this that I think there's part of you that says, why am I getting 36% of the vote when I'm
that was the question that was asked of me.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
But
the question was, why do you think there's such a disparity in the two numbers? And the first comment was, listen, Maddox and Glavine were a part of Schmaltz for, 14 years? I mean, they're all three Hall of Fame pitchers. They certainly helped each other in a sense from a notoriety perspective. But they all three have credentials to be in the Hall of Fame.
I know, but you said, he was helped out by Glavine and Maddox, which is true.
Right, but not in the sense that he got in because of someone else. And that's, I think, what everybody's trying to put on that comment, which is ridiculous.
Okay. But I was trying to understand that. But then you went back, and I thought you were serious about people not voting for you.
Oh, God, no.
You don't think that people hold your political beliefs or whatever it might be against you?
I think there's bias, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
But all the guys that I know that work on that have a ballot, the sports writers that are involved in baseball, every one of those guys, whether they vote for me or not, puts immense amount of time, effort, and thought into it. And that's, as a player, that's all you ask.
But why are you not giving more consideration? I don't understand it.
It's an awkward process. I think I don't know. Maybe I don't belong.
You're a Hall of Famer.
Listen, I've never looked at myself from that. I can't look at myself from that perspective. I was always the most critical guy of my own ability. But the thing about it is, there's people in the Hall. Everybody in the Hall of Fame for me belongs there one way or another. And if people believe, listen, if I had my own Hall of Fame, I wouldn't be in it because I think Hall of Fame is you're either in or you're out. There's not 12, 10, 15 years to decide. I mean, that's why I made the comment the other day. Listen, I didn't strike anybody out in the last calendar year. I didn't win a game, but I got 10% more votes. So I got better?
Oh, I know that. I don't understand that. I don't. And like Clemens and Bonds will get more votes. And
right,
they haven't done anything.
I do understand it, though, because there's a couple things. First off, you saw RJ and Pedro, who both should have been 100% guys.
Yeah.
Neither one of them got 100%. And you heard people talk about the fact, hey, I didn't vote for RJ because I knew everybody else would, and I wanted to give somebody else my vote. That, to me, speaks to a flawed process.
But Joe, why not have Hall of Famers vote for who they think should be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, because I think a lot of times the eye test is baloney. Listen, I thought Don Mattingly was a first ballot shoe-in guy because the guy I played against was as good a defensive first baseman as I've ever seen and could rake. But then when you look at, the Hall of Fame is about a consistent body of work over a large period of time or being a Koufax or a Pedro where you do something over a couple of years that no one's ever done before. And maybe he certainly isn't a first ballot guy based on everything, but I think I think part of it is that we're really, really close to it. And if you want to talk about guys with personal vendettas, can you imagine some of the players who wouldn't vote for other guys because they didn't like them?
Oh, everybody would vote for you, Schill.
Yeah, please.
Everybody would. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out. Your vote total was too low for me.
Well, I'll tell you what. Honestly, given the last 3 years of my life, Dan, it's not something I give about 4 seconds of thought to until the process comes up. And once it came up this year, and stuff started coming out about people voting and who they were voting for, I was surprised to see that a lot of people that were making their votes known were voting for me. So I thought, wow, this is kind of cool. And so we played a little game beforehand, and I said 48%. That was my number, and it was shorter, so I was clearly off and wrong. But listen, I ran into a guy a long time ago, a writer who I despise and who was actually a despicable man, and he made it very clear that his Hall of Fame ballot, he did not vote for Nolan Ryan. And when I called him on it in public in the clubhouse, he said, listen, if Don Sutton doesn't get in on the first ballot, and I think it took something like 12 tries, then Nolan doesn't deserve it. And I said, what the hell are you talking about? Nolan Ryan's vote has nothing to do with Don Sutton. And he wrote a big article about it, and then you realize that there are people who create a ballot so they can write an article. And when I heard that, I don't want to downgrade or degrade what the Hall of Fame means, because it's the greatest of the greatest. But I can't get worked up over something like that. You have so little control.
Okay, you're a member of the media. Should Clemens get in?
No.
Why?
He cheated.
Should Bonds get in?
No. Listen, hold on. Let me take that back. I'm sorry. I was a little bit reactionary there. The only reason the problem is I've kind of turned on Bonds because when I think Barry started cheating, before he was still the best player in the game. If his career had ended then, he would have been in the Hall of Fame probably.
Yes. But Clemens, when Clemens' career ended in Boston, he wouldn't have been a Hall of Famer.
Right. I don't think so. But yeah, that's where I think the big difference is.
But you have other guys in there, like Sammy Sosa. There's no proof that or Mike Piazza. Piazza deserved to be in?
Well, Piazza and Bagwell are in the same boat, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, listen,
suspicion.
Mike Piazza, it was a speculation. He was never named in anything.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, you're talking about the greatest offensive catcher in the history of the game, and the gap between him and second, which probably is like the Johnny Bench kind, is huge. He should be 105% guy if you're voting based on what we know. And Jeff Bagwell is one of the 5 best first basemen of all time. I played with Jeff. I'd be devastated if he cheated because I watched a guy who, he only hit 16 home runs his rookie year, but every one of them was a tape measure shot. He had monster power as a young player, and that to me, and I watched him work. No one put more time in the weight room than Jeff Bagwell.
How tough is it to be on the mound knowing you're facing somebody who's cheating?
No, not at all. Never entered my mind. I'll tell you what. It did. I gave up a home run to Barry in 2001 or 2002 in Bank One, and it literally looked like a bullet ping ponging inside a metal house as it ricocheted around the restaurant in center field. The restaurant in center field is like 13,000 feet from home plate, and he hit this home run, and I'm like, oh my God, that's not human. And the other one I'll never forget is I gave up a home run to a catcher in '97. I'm not going to name names, but I threw the pitch, shattered his bat,
and still homered
went out to dead center field. Yeah. And I was like, okay, something's going on.
Okay, does Pudge Rodriguez get in?
I don't know. I mean, he was a guy that whose name was out there.
I can't put him in and not put in Piazza.
I still think that Molina's probably the greatest defensive catcher of all time. I think you got to have Pudge and Bench right literally there.
Yeah.
But the problem is it goes to the Edgar Martinez argument, which is people are like, oh, he's a DH. Well, listen, pretty much everybody in the Hall of Fame got in, quote unquote, as a DH because it's all about, for the most part, early on, home runs, batting average, and RBIs. People don't go, wow, defensively he had a great season here and there. Maybe Mazeroski or Ozzie Smith. But other than that, can you think of guys in the Hall of Fame because of what they did defensively?
No. And like Frank Thomas gets in. Frank couldn't play first base, but, the guy could rake. Does Alex Rodriguez get in?
Oh God, no! I don't know. God, no. I think because I think there's a belief that what he did his entire career.
Can we now admit it? And this might help your Hall of Fame credentials. Admit that the bloody sock was doctored and it was fake.
It was Heinz.
I knew it.
I had to deal with Heinz, and I was trying to make it public. So no. It wasn't doctored. Like I said, I threw the picture out there of the thing. If it was doctored, I wouldn't have had that many stitches in it.
How's your health? How's your wife?
It's getting better, Dan. Thanks for asking. It's daily. It's daily. I mean, I still am having a lot of trouble with my mouth. The lack of saliva causes issues. It's winter now. It's dry. It's hard. I still am on a lot of liquid, but listen, I'm putting on that weight like nobody's business.
Good.
So,
hey, good to have you back. I'd love to talk baseball with you. Please tell your wife I said hello.
I will, man. Give me a holler.
Thank you, buddy. All right, that's Curt Schilling. Never scared.